Hi, I'm Stephanie Black. I serve as Associate Director for Orientation and Training with Theologians Without Borders. And today we're talking to Dr. Sheila Foster Fabiano from ISTEL in Lubango, Angola. Sheila has served at various times as Director of ISTEL, as Academic Dean, and now is the Coordinator of the Postgraduate Programs and Research. So Sheila, I'm going to start by asking you to tell us what ISTEL stands for in beautiful Portuguese.
Hey everybody, it stands for Instituto Superior de Teologia Evangélica no Lubango. Lubango is the city where the school is
Great.
situated.
And how would that translate into English?
Basically, it's a an evangelical theological college in Lubango.
Great, okay.
Because it's a school that's owned by the Evangelical Alliance of Angola. So it's an interdenominational school for bachelor's and now master's degree level.
Excellent. That's helpful for us to get some context. So going into the current crisis, where were you at ISTEL in terms of using online or distance methods for your programs?
Basically, we have a residential program that has only used internet for research purposes in the library. For example, we have now, as of almost 2 years now, we have access to virtual library kind of a system for the students with a server in the library where you can download books for them to be able to read them or access them. Then we've had, for the last few years, we have had a modular format for the bachelor's degree, which is a blended learning kind of situation. The students come 3 times a year for 2 weeks of intensive classes, and the rest of the time they are supposed to work at home online, which is where it hasn't actually functioned.
Okay, so that's my next question. What are you and your students, what challenges are you facing in moving your teaching and learning online, particularly in terms of capacity and resources?
Okay, well, a lot depends where you are in Angola. The big cities have halfway decent internet access. But even here in Lubango, which is one of the bigger cities, I have the fiber optic cable connection for internet at my house, but half the time of the month it doesn't work. And I don't get compensated for the hours or days that it doesn't function. You pay per month and you just lose it and you don't get extra hours. So that is a challenge for everybody, not just for the teachers. The students have the same problem. We did, this year we have got 80 students in the residential program. And of those, we just took a poll the other day. We didn't get everybody because not everybody showed up. But for example, out of 20 students in the 3rd year class that were polled, 18 of them have computers, personal computers. So I was surprised it was that high a number. All of them, no, 14 out of 20 have a smartphone. So,
it's interesting that more have computers than have phones, because I would have expected it the other way. Mm-hmm.
Well, in the 2nd year, 13 out of 14 have smartphones, and only 9 out of 14 have computers.
That's more what I would have guessed.
Depend a little bit which year you are in the program. We didn't catch our 1st years because we forgot to ask them while they were there on campus. Because of the lockdown, we are now allowed to have meetings as long as you have people with masks and distance, So we had them all in the chapel spread out, and they came for orientation, not for class, but each of the teachers could come and give them orientation about what they need to study, what they need to hand in terms of schoolwork for their particular course.
So it sounds like one of the strategies you were able to do is at least an initial face-to-face before people had to
Yeah.
separate.
We did that, yes, in March. The lockdown started on March 24th, and on the 23rd, we had everybody come in, and all the teachers gave orientation for each of their subjects for each of the years, right? And since then, we've been following up either with phone or WhatsApp. All of the students are in a WhatsApp group. So all the first years are in one WhatsApp thread, all the second years in another WhatsApp thread, etc. Anyway, to
And
try
what
and
can
keep
you
track.
use, what are you using WhatsApp for? Because this is something that's come up in a number of places, that people often do have access to that, even if they don't have heavy internet access or extensive internet access or even their own laptops. So what do you find you can use WhatsApp for in this situation?
Well, for example, for me, I'm teaching New Testament Greek this semester to beginner Greek to third year students. And so they have a workbook that goes along with the textbook, which I'm very fortunate because in that sense, I didn't have to write up a whole bunch of notes for them or something. So their assignment then, they have work in the workbook to do each week. So what they've been doing is filling in their workbook, taking a picture and sending me by WhatsApp or by email. Then I can correct it. I have the screen on my iPad allows me to correct on the screen, right? I can write in red or green or whatever color and send it back to them. So
you're marking up their photo with comments and corrections and sending that
back again. Yes.
Hey,
that works really well.
Any of the
it's working really well.
Yeah, it sounds like a great approach. Any of the other courses that wouldn't necessarily have access to workbooks like that, do you have a sense of what they're doing?
Yeah, the teachers said they are the students have to send in written assignments, and they're basically mostly doing them the same way, either taking a picture and sending it, or else an email scan, or a picture on email.
Okay, so they're not necessarily typing those papers or assignments on a computer. They could be writing it on paper, and then they could be photographing it and sending to you. Oh, that's a great idea.
If they have internet access with their computer, then they can write a document and email it as an attachment. For I think students in systematic theology, I know, are used to doing that. I'm not sure about the other courses, but we in our faculty meeting 2 weeks ago, it was interesting. The first year students who only had 1 month of school before the lockdown, they were having, of course, the hardest time figuring out how to function and how to send in, how to study it all by themselves. And that's what we find, because the baseline education here does not teach students how to learn by themselves or independently.
Have you found any strategies for that to help them with that, or is that an ongoing challenge?
Well, it's an ongoing challenge. But what we try to do, basically you see that the first semester of the first year, students are actually learning just how to learn.
Sure.
And even into the second semester. By the second year, they're already kind of in the groove, and it's much better. But some, you feel like they never make it, of course. But
you mentioned these are different. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, just to say, I talked to a guy he's a director of the medical center here, Christian Medical Center. He teaches statistics for a Christian college, a private Christian college in town. And he was saying that expecting bachelor's level students to learn on their own is useless. It's a pipe dream. Mm-hmm. He doesn't feel that distance education works at all. Mm-hmm. Or online education works for the bachelor's level. He said it's fine for master's level, but not for bachelor.
So a good thing to keep in mind is the students' own learning how to learn, where they were when this started. You mentioned a couple of ways that students have been submitting work on the phone, WhatsApp, email if they have it. Are there any ways, how are you getting material out to students? Did that all go out during that first orientation, or are you somehow sending material to them?
Those that had to prepare stuff, some of them, they prepared ahead of time because we could see that the lockdown was coming already a week before. So we had a faculty meeting, said everybody has to prepare enough for at least a month, which was a scramble for some. Otherwise, they've sent, you know, assignments on WhatsApp doing the same kind of thing, you know, taking pictures or sending, read X number of pages and these are the questions, that kind of thing.
And do the students have basically hard copy resources, or are they having to link to anything online in order to get the materials that they need?
We do not, they have not had to link online to get materials for the most part. It's all hard copy or scanned copy of something.
That you're able to send that. WhatsApp is a great vehicle, you're saying, to send that out and to get things back. That's fantastic. Help to hear that.
And there's a lot, if you have a computer, we have quite a lot of possibility to download PDF files of books. In Portuguese, which of course is always the big thing in this context, is finding books in Portuguese. But one of our Brazilian professors is great at finding resources, and he's downloaded lots of PDF files for the students, and that has been a huge help. So many of them have on their computer as well.
So what you're saying is the faculty who have that internet access are going ahead and downloading the PDFs, and they can either give or send some of that out to the students at the lower bandwidth, like through WhatsApp.
Yes.
Have there been any unexpected benefits from having to do this? Some people find that there are, some don't.
Well, it's certainly, I think it's forced the students, like from Greek perspective, from my class, it's been actually very good. One of the students wrote me yesterday, and he said, wow, this textbook is really great. It explains everything. In the class, when it's been face-to-face classes, 90% probably have not read the textbook. So this way they're being forced to actually use the resources they have. So that's a positive.
To teach themselves from the resources that are there.
Yes, and learn how to understand it.
You're not doing any kind of like, you're not doing a video lesson, or are you doing anything like to set them up for each week? No, they're just following the book and then you're giving feedback.
I on the WhatsApp thread, I said, okay, this week it's this, and then this number to that number, and the exercise book and that kind of thing. And then I've done at the beginning, I did an example of what I wanted and took a picture of it and sent it on WhatsApp to them so they could all see what I was expecting them to do.
Wonderful practical suggestions and helps.